We're here today, July 15th, 2023 at approximately 4:24 Pacific Standard Time, taking the testimony of number 23LC0020, holding up the card. The date is also 7/15/23 on the card. The city is in Glendale. The province is the state of California. The country is the United States of America. So, thank you for that. I understand that we normally speak to those that are willing to give their testimony for whatever purposes, and we identify them using their key card. And in your case, it's 23LC-0020. However, under these special circumstances, given that you're, pretty much a public figure in a sense, you had stated off the camera that you would like to be known by your actual first name and or last name rather than the key card. Do you consent to using your name?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. The question that I like to start off with, I'll keep it very simple in the beginning. I'm going to ask you several background questions. So the first question I want to ask you is, what city and state were you born in?
I was born in the city of Sverdlovsk, today's Yekaterinburg, of Soviet Union, today's Russian Federation, in February 4th, 76.
Okay, and this is going to sound a little counterproductive, but it'll make sense in the end. Where were your mother and father born?
My father was born in Moscow, capital of Russia and Soviet Union, and my mother was born in the same city, Sverdlovsk, today's Yekaterinburg.
Okay, and do you know from your paternal side, your grandparents, where they were born?
Yes, my grandparents from the mother's side, they're originally from the city of Lviv and Krakow. Lviv and Krakow in Ukraine, today Ukraine, and Krakow is Poland. And the next part of my family, from father's side, they're from Lithuania and actually Ukraine as well, city of Novograd-Volynsk in central Ukraine.
Okay, and what religion, if any, do you identify with?
I think Judaism.
Okay, and is that the same for your father's side and your father's ancestry?
Yeah, more or less the same, yeah.
And is it the same for your mother's side or different?
Yeah, well, my father is half Russian,
Mm-hmm.
but on his mother's side, he's Jew as well.
Okay, and did any members of your family survive the Holocaust in, Nazi Germany, Western Europe during World War II?
Actually, all of my grandparents, they passed the Holocaust period. So from my mother's side, those who came from Poland and today's Western Ukraine, most of them were exterminated in Auschwitz. And so my grandmother, she survived. She was able to run to the eastern direction, to the Soviet Union. So he saved her life. And on my father's side, the story more or less the same. So most of the relatives were killed, and some were able just to become refugees in the Soviet Union.
Okay, and do you know how many, and only if you know, how many collective members of your family actually survived the Holocaust?
Not much. For example, in the family of my grandfather, on the mother's side, they had 8 children in the family, so survived just 2. The rest were killed during the Holocaust, and his parents as well. And more or less the same from my father's side.
Okay, and so after the Holocaust and World War II ended, those that survived on both sides of your family, do you know where they moved?
Those who survived, yes, they moved to the Soviet Union. Yeah.
Okay, and did they move there because they figured it was safe for them, or what was the reason?
Yeah, that's the only reason. It's safety, and they were refugees. There are just 2 options: or to die on the German occupied side, or to run to the Soviet Union and to try to save their life.
Okay.
So I'm just 3rd generation to be born in Soviet Union, actually.
Did they tell you any stories about the Holocaust itself?
Yeah, of course.
Would you like to share some?
A lot of stories. For example, some of our relatives who are originally from city of Vilnius, capital city of Lithuania, they spent half a year in a Jewish ghetto was organized by Nazis, I think in 1941 till 1943, and all of them were exterminated. I think 40,000 Jews of the city, and the rest were killed even earlier, and very little survived, actually, maybe 5% of the total Jewish population of Lithuania.
Do you remember how old you were when your family would tell you these genocide surviving stories or Holocaust surviving stories?
Maybe 7, 8 years old.
And how did that affect you hearing these stories at a very young and early age?
So first of all, from the beginning, when I was a very little child, it was the Soviet Union times and a lot of anti-Semitism around. So my parents tried to keep me away from these issues of my nation and religion. So I was thinking I'm Russian. A little bit later, so they decided to disclose me all our history of the family.
Did you feel any anti-Semitism when you were growing up in the Soviet Union?
Yeah, from time to time. For example, when I was a child, I think it was a third or fourth grade on the Soviet school. It was 1988 or 89. So one teacher of geography in our Soviet school, so she told me, I think I did something wrong. I didn't prepare my homework or something. So she told me, I so much hate those people. I didn't understand which kind of people. Those people who just try to betray to our communist country, our Soviet future, those Jews. I remember this. I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. Yeah.
Now, how did that make you feel?
I felt bad, especially considering that all of my classmates, children my age, were just laughing at me. They said, Jew.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. So what I'd like to do now, and give you the floor in essence going forward, is I'm going to ask you questions about your work. Make it a little bit more personal for you. What do you do today for work?
Basically nowadays, my situation is a little bit complicated because of all I passed. Azerbaijan experience. The new orders for my arrest were issued by Azerbaijan, so I cannot continue my normal work. So I'm a travel blogger and journalist. So I cannot just freely travel all around the globe. So for my safety, I have the list of blacklisted countries, which consists of about 35-40 countries, where I just cannot go, otherwise I could be arrested or killed. Plus we have the aggression between Russia and Ukraine, and most of my income actually came from both Russia and Ukraine. So today I lost at least half of my income because of that. That's it, actually, what's going on for today.
So you listed about 35 countries that you said that are on your personal blacklist, or if you were to visit these countries, something may happen to you in a negative fashion. Are there any of these 35 countries that are well-known countries? And if they are, do you have do you mind giving us some list of them?
I can mention the countries. So there are two options to arrest somebody in the globe. So first one is Interpol, order of Interpol, red card and blue card, I think. And the second option within the ex-Soviet Union, which means CIS, ex-Soviet Union. Yeah, there is a Minsk agreement of juridical support between the ex-Soviet countries. So based on this agreement, they can just arrest anybody and to extradite him to this country without any judgment.
So when you say they, how about you give me just a list of countries that are on your list of 35 countries that you can't visit on?
Well, ex-Soviet Union, I mean Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Republic of Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, what else? Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, even Armenia. Probably, hopefully, Armenia is not my case, but still, basically, is Armenia signed on this agreement. So plus Turkey, most of the Muslim countries of the Middle East, countries like Tunisia, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Pakistan. So this is my list.
And what would happen to you, in your opinion, if you were to visit one of these countries, let's say tomorrow? What would likely happen?
So all the mentioned countries actually are deeply corrupted countries. So I can just be kidnapped and taken to Azerbaijan illegally. And this is the good, so-called good option. And the second option just can be killed.
Understood. And I just want to clarify something that when I asked you what you did for work, you said that you were a journalist and that most of your job opportunities now have gone. But let's just go back about 10 or 15 years prior to today. And obviously, this is before a lot of the reasons why you're giving your testimony here today. What did you do for work? Where did you go? How did you make your money? How about you share me that?
So when I finished my military service in 1999, plus I studied for years in the university in Israel. But basically, I decided to go to travel the globe. So instead of my office work, I decided to travel. So I visited for today 150 countries, and I have number of social medias and blogs, and like YouTube and livejournal.com and Facebook and Twitter and all around. So in a good times, before the war between Russia and Ukraine, and before I was arrested, so I have a lot of I could publish any advertisements from different structures. I mean, airlines, hotels, restaurants, and I have even I filmed different documentary movies for the different TV channels. So I was in a kind of good position.
Okay. So I want to know about the countries at that point in time, about 10 or 15, as you called it, the good years. Were there any countries at that point in time where you didn't feel safe that you could visit then that you do feel unsafe if you were to visit today?
Basically the same list.
Got
More
it.
or less the same list, yeah.
Got it. So you, in essence, had freedom of movement back then, safety and all that, but today you don't.
I would mention even the countries not from the blacklist, from this so-called not prohibited, but not safe countries. So now I arrived to the United States from Mexico. So even in Mexico, I didn't feel safe. Not because I believe that Mexican government is able to arrest me unlawfully to send me extradite me to Azerbaijan. Mexico is not Belarus, but still Mexico is deeply corrupted, with the good ties with both Azerbaijan and Turkey. So who knows? So I feel like for me, half of the world countries consider it not safe.
Okay, so is it my understanding, am I understanding correctly, let me put it to you that way, that the vast majority of the reason why you're not feeling safe traveling is because of being extradited to Azerbaijan?
Yeah, both. So I was extradited to Azerbaijan, but nowadays the stories did not finish. So they opened a new criminal proceedings against me.
And when you say they, who do you mean?
Azerbaijani government, the Prosecutor General Office of Azerbaijan.
And do you remember his name? The Prosecutor General?
Basically, prosecutor's name. So when I was arrested, his name was, I will check my phone.
You have full access, go ahead.
Zakir Goralov, General Zakir Goralov. But today he is not in the office.
So is it your understanding that whoever is in his office or whoever has his position today is the one that started the criminal proceedings?
Yes. Yes.
Understood.
And basically, I received this information from the Israeli Foreign Ministry. I received the formal letter signed by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Israel with just 2 lines, very short letter, with just 2 lines. Mr. Lapshin, we are here to inform you that based on our information from our sources in Azerbaijan, the Prosecutor General Office of Azerbaijan just opening a new criminal proceedings against you. So just consider your trips out of Israel.
So I have 2 follow-up questions with that. Before we go any further, do you remember the name of the Israeli official who lettered or penned that letter to you?
I just need to check it.
Sure.
In a couple of minutes.
Take your time. Take your time. We won't go off camera, so the camera can capture everything.
Yeah. Oh, so her surname is Duvdevani. Duvdevani.
And what is her first name, if you have it?
Just N. N. Point Duvdevani.
Okay, and the second question that I had to that
Yeah.
was, do you recall what day, month, and year you received that letter?
February-
Approximately.
Yeah, February 2020. February 2020.
Okay.
2 years ago.
Okay. So this leads to an interesting question that I have, because you said that you are Jewish, correct?
Yeah.
What is your country of citizenship?
I have 3 citizenship: Russian, Ukrainian, and Israeli.
Okay, and does that also mean that you have 3 passports
Yeah.
from,
Yes, have 3 passports.
and that's from Ukraine, Russia,
Yeah,
and Israel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, understood. So I wanted to ask you a question about the freedom of movement that you had as your work. Let's just focus on the timeline of 2011. Is it true that in 2011 you went and visited Nagorno-Karabakh, also known as Artsakh?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, and before you visited Nagorno-Karabakh and Artsakh, you still felt safe, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you didn't feel insecure, not safe?
No, just nothing.
Okay. So when did you visit Nagorno-Karabakh, if you remember the dates?
It was, I think, April or May 2011. I don't remember exactly 20.
And that's okay. I'm not going to hold that against
Yeah.
you. I mean, it's your testimony. It's whatever you remember.
Yeah.
How long, in terms of days or weeks or months, did you visit Nagorno-Karabakh?
2.5 days.
2.5
Even-
days.
Yeah, that's it.
And what was your purpose of your trip?
I'm a travel blogger. This is my job. This is my hobby. So I visited a lot of the different conflict zones of the world, like Iraq, Somalia, Kosovo, Abkhazia, like different strange places in the world. So Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh, just one of the long list.
Okay, and when you said a conflict zone in 2011, was it your impression that it was still a conflict zone?
I think so, because I just passed on the main road across the front line. I mean, city of Agdam, destroyed city of Agdam, and I visited the city of Martakert and Martuni, Shushi, what else, Stepanakert, and a couple of monasteries, I mean, Dadivang, and the second, well known, close to Stepanakert. I think you remember even better than me. The well-known monastery, Dadivang, Amaras, and the third one, Ganzasar. Yeah.
Just so you know, going forward, even if I know what you're trying to say, I'm not going to add any of my input in there, because everything that
Yeah.
this videotape captures, I want it to come straight from you.
Okay.
So it's okay. If you don't remember certain things, that's absolutely fine. Whatever you remember, that's
Yeah.
all I really want to know. You had mentioned that you had come into Nagorno-Karabakh, also known as Artsakh, through Agdam. Is that your first point of entry into Karabakh, or was there a different point of entry?
No, I entered from the northern road around the area of Sivan Lake. It was Zod Pass. I think the name is Zod Pass. So I entered from Zod Pass with the rented car in Yerevan airport. So we traveled from the north to the south of Artsakh, Karabakh, and we left from Lachin corridor.
And that's where you left, was
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
Lachin corridor.
From Lachin, Berdzor, the Armenian
Yeah,
name.
correct, understood.
Mhm.
And was there anything impeding your movement through the Lachin corridor in 2011?
No, just nothing.
Were they-
No any checks, nothing.
Okay. How many people were with you when you went to go visit Azerbaijan, if there was anything more than just yourself? I apologize. I don't mean Azerbaijan. I meant Nagorno-Karabakh.
Yeah. 4. whole including me,
Okay, and were they family and friends?
family and friends.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, did any of those three additional or four additional other people get into any trouble for visiting
No,
Nagorno-Karabakh?
just nothing.
Just you, right?
No, just me.
Okay. And you had said that you had stayed there for 2.5 days, correct?
Yeah.
How about you just walk me through those 2.5 days and try to tell me, from what you remember, the places you visited in terms of content for your travel blog.
So I took a lot of pictures on the way of both like your neighborhood in Stepanakert, Central Park, and the Museum of Fallen Armenian Soldiers, and all the monasteries and churches. But both I took the photos and filmed videos in the destroyed Agdam and different places which with abandoned tanks and different military equipment from the First Artsakh War. Actually, that's it. I published everything. So that's basically why Azerbaijanis found out that I visited Nagorno-Karabakh.
And so when you say you published, where did you publish?
All of my social media, my website.
Understood. And you also just said that's basically how Azerbaijan found out that
Yeah.
you visited Nagorno-Karabakh.
Yes.
How do you know that?
I think from the after about maybe 2 years after my visit, somebody sent me the message to my Facebook account. Some Azerbaijani guy, I think, sent me the message. Do you know that you're in the blacklist of Azerbaijan? I think so. It was just a message from anonymous. So I didn't take it seriously because it's illogical. I'm just a blogger, a journalist. So in my own opinion, a list of the undesirable person consists of like ministers and politicians and human rights activists. I am not one of them. So still, my name is actually appeared on the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Azerbaijan as a blacklisted person.
Understood. How about we do this? We take a short little break. We can use a restroom, whatever it is that we need to do, and we'll continue this on.
We can just continue.
Is that okay with you if we take a little break?
It's okay with me. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Mr. Lapshin, we're back from a short little break, and again, I want to remind those that are watching this, we have Mr. Lapshin's consent to use his name instead of his key card by his own choice. I had a question about your visit in Nagorno-Karabakh in 2011. How were the people of Nagorno-Karabakh with you? Did they treat you with respect, or were they not respectful?
Basically, I didn't have any context with local people, honestly speaking, because it's just very limited time. I have my friends who are just in touch and can communicate it. So we just slept a couple of nights in a hotel in Stepanakert. That's it. I don't remember any contacts with locals.
Mm. Did you enjoy the food there?
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
I wanted to know if in between 2011 and today, have you willingly visited Azerbaijan?
Yes, I visited Azerbaijan in August 2016. It was an interesting story. I received the message from the Italian company Pirelli, which deals with car tires. Here's. So, as a journalist and a blogger, from time to time, I was invited to different events in different countries of the world. So I was invited to Azerbaijan. So I just gave them feedback, guys, I'm blacklisted by Azerbaijan. But basically I received the message from the Italians, not from Azerbaijanis. So they said they will check this issue with...
So when you say that you had a message or an invitation from the Italians, from the company Pirelli, to go to Azerbaijan, do you recall any names from the Italian company Pirelli that invited you there?
Unfortunately, don't remember.
Okay, and what was the reason that they invited you into Azerbaijan? Why would Pirelli invite you there?
Because they invited hundreds of bloggers and journalists just to tell about this car racing in Formula One in Baku. That's it. So this is kind of normal for me. So from time to time I was invited to different events in the world.
Okay, and so when you went to Baku sometime in 2016, is that correct? When you went to Baku in 2016, did you pay for your own airfare to go to Baku, or who paid for that?
Basically, it was paid by the government of Azerbaijan. So they provided me with the free tickets on Azerbaijan Airlines flight from capital city of Georgia, Tbilisi to Baku, and they paid for my hotel in the city of Baku.
Where did you stay in the city of Baku?
I think it's a hotel name. It was Hilton or Sheraton, expensive one, Hilton or Sheraton. So they paid for 3 nights in this hotel, and then I took my free time. So I decided if I just arrive to Azerbaijan free of charge, why not to travel around Azerbaijan after the finish of car racings. So I spent in a total about 11-12 days in Azerbaijan. So I hired a car in Baku. So I traveled with the car all out to Azerbaijan.
Okay, so when Azerbaijan paid for your airfare and your hotel stay, did they directly deposit that money into your account, or did they mail you the tickets, or how did that happen?
Yeah, they mailed the tickets. So I sent them my passport details. So they just purchased the tickets and sent it back to me.
Okay, and do you remember the point of contact, the individual person that you spoke with?
The name of the company, it was travel company in Baku called Silkway. Silkway. Yeah.
Silkway. So
Silkway.
someone from Silkway.
Yeah, from Silkway.
And do you remember that person's name at all?
No.
Okay. So tell me about the visit in Azerbaijan. You said that you stayed there for about 10 or how many days?
About 11, maybe 12 days.
Okay. Where do you recall, what cities I should say, do you recall visiting?
I visited Baku, of course. I spent 3 days in Baku. Then I traveled to the north, to the city of Guba, and I visited Jewish village of Krasnosloboda, Jewish village. There are almost no Jews nowadays, but once there were 15,000 Jews, today like 200 elderly people. And then I continued to the mountains region of Caucasus. I visited city of Shiki, Zakatali, Ganja, I think in Armenia it's Ganzak. And then I continued south to Terter, city of Terter, close to Artsakh actually. I tried to penetrate even deeper than Terter, but I couldn't because of military posts. I was stopped and sent back. They said this is closed military area. So then I continued to the south, to the city of Lemkoran.
Okay, well, I kind of want to go back to a point that you made where you said there was one of the original starting locations, starting cities that you went to outside of Baku was a small little Jewish village. You had mentioned that there were Jews there at one point, but now it was a few Jews. Do you know any reason why the number fell?
Of course. So even part of my relatives are from Jews from Azerbaijan, not close relatives, but like cousins. So I remember for sure why they left Azerbaijan. So they left in 1989 after the Armenian massacre in Baku and Sumgait, because they were afraid that the next it's going to be Jews. So 95% of the Azerbaijani Jews left in the same period of time, starting from massacre of Armenians in Baku and Sumgait till about 1992-93.
Got it. And you said that you had family there. Do you still have family there?
No, not anymore. So they left Azerbaijan, I think 1989 or something, before the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Okay, in that city that you visited, how many Jews do you estimate were in that city when you visited in 2016?
I can tell almost for sure, because this is kind of well-known Jewish city, Krasnosloboda. It's very close to the border with Russian Federation of Republic of Dagestan of Russian Federation. So there were 12 synagogues in this city, 12 synagogues, and I entered a couple of synagogues and I talked with rabbis in the both synagogues. So of course I asked them, rabbis, what's going on here with the Jewish community? How many Jews here in Azerbaijan in a total, and in your village specifically? So they told me there are about 200 inhabitants here, 200 Jews, most of them people 60 plus, and most of the Jews actually moved to Moscow, to Tel Aviv, and to United States. And I asked, what about the Jews of Azerbaijan? They told me, based on official statistics of the government of Azerbaijan, there are about 15,000 Jews, but the rabbi told me what he believes. So it's about between 2 and 3,000 actually.
Do you remember the name of that rabbi?
I remember, but I wouldn't like to mention it for his safety.
That's okay. That's understandable. But when you say for his safety, what do you mean by that? What are you afraid of? I'm not asking you to give me his name at this point, but what do you mean? Can you elaborate for his safety?
I can bring you one good example. What I mean. So my lawyer, my Azerbaijani lawyer, had two lawyers. First one from the beginning, I had a government-appointed lawyer. Her name is Guseinov, and I weren't allowed to bring my lawyer here by the family. But finally, my lawyer, who just changed this one, was a Mountain Jew guy. His name was Eduard Chernin. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, he passed away, so I just can't talk about him without worrying about his safety. So this man, he's about his 60s, and he was the head of the of Baku Jewish community during the mentioned times when I was in the jail. So when he came to visit me in the jail, from the beginning he told me, the reason why I took your case, he's a lawyer, by the way, the reason why I took your case, not because of money, or not because any special reason. He said, I'm a Jew, I'm Azerbaijani Jew. So he said, Jews live in this territory for almost 3,000 years. So the Republic of Azerbaijan exists for less than 100 years. But still, he said, we Jews, we just live as Azerbaijanis in peace and quiet, at least till nowadays. He said, because of your case, because of a lot of publications in Azerbaijani pro-government media, our a small community, we experienced a lot of pressure, anti-Semitic pressure from Azerbaijanis. So he said, it's very important to remove you from Azerbaijan. So if you stay here, they continue to publish endless articles about Jews, about that some Jews cooperate with Armenians, Jewish guy is Armenian spy. He said this is just horrible. So because of that, a couple of Jewish cemeteries were destroyed by vandals in the city of Baku. He said it's never happened before. So he said, of course, he said, I remember the massacre of Armenians in 1988. So he said, I don't want the same with Jews to be happening nowadays.
And you just mentioned anti-Semitic sentiments from the Azeri government. Can you elaborate on that? What you understood that your Jewish lawyer to have meant by that? Did he tell you?
I just go to see the newspapers. Even nowadays, everyone who just go to Google and Google with my name plus Azerbaijan, you can find a lot of articles where they call me not Alexander Lapshin, like name and surname. They called a Jewish Lapshin, Jewish blogger cooperate with Armenian, Jewish. So they everywhere they mention my origins, so my nationality, everywhere. So I don't think this is the good sign of tolerance.
Understood. So, if hypothetically speaking, the country of Azerbaijan were to know about any of these people's names that you're trying to keep, quote, safe, as you said, do you think they would be physically harmed?
For sure, of course.
What makes you sure?
Of course. I will bring you one more example. This example not connected with Jews, it's more connected with Georgians, the Republic of Georgia. I had a friend, Georgian friend, his name is, I will not mention his name, okay, because he still lives in Tbilisi. He has a small shop, computer shop, and a couple of his workers, ethnic Azerbaijanis, from the city of Tbilisi, so they're not from Azerbaijan, but from Georgia. But they have relatives and families in the city of Ganja and Baku. So we're not big friends with this Georgian guy, but once when I just passed through Georgia, my laptop was broken, so I went to his shop, and now we somehow were in a contact through the Facebook. So I think about 1 year ago, maybe a little bit more, he called me and told me, you know what happened? So two of his workers, two Azerbaijanis, they went for the weekend to Baku for visit their families, and they didn't come back. So I asked, okay, so what's happened? Why do you call me? I have nothing to do with the just. So he said, I will explain you why. So after about 3 or 4 days, one of them called him back to Tbilisi and told him, I'm in trouble. I was arrested by the Azerbaijani police when I arrived to the city of Baku. So the investigators of the Azerbaijani intelligence, it's called SGB of Azerbaijan, they told him, we know for sure that you got paid by Alexander Lapshin and you cooperate with Armenian intelligence. So I was just laughing because it was just crazy. I said to the Georgian guy, this is just crazy. I hardly know you. We met one time with you personally, like 4 years ago. I don't know you guys. I never saw them at all. So this is how come? So he said the Azerbaijani police and intelligence checked their Facebook, and they found out that they're friends with him, with the Georgian one, and the Georgian one is my friend on Facebook. So for some reason they decided they were just in a constant contact.
Understood.
So those guys, one of them spent I think 3 or 4 days in the police station. He was beaten, and they broke his fingers. And as a computer engineer, so without fingers, you can't work. And the second one, the second just disappeared. He never come back to Georgia.
Did you ever see the person's fingers that were, as you said, broken or anything like that?
Never. I was told by the Georgian guy.
Okay, so what examples do you have, if any, that would substantiate your fear of the safety for your life if you were to ever visit Azerbaijan again today?
Oh, first of all, they issued one more criminal cases against me after I was released from the first time. When I was released, they issued more criminal cases with the same accusations: illegal crossing of Azerbaijani border, because I visited one more time Nagorno-Karabakh Artsakh after I was released, and the second, insult of president of Azerbaijan and open calls against the government of Azerbaijan or something, because I called them corrupted and bribes and dictatorship and etc.
So did you ever visit Azerbaijan, Nagorno-Karabakh, or also known as Artsakh, again a second time?
Yes, in December 2021. Before the Catholic Christmas, I visited once again, and basically it was after the war, so I could enter this region just through the Lapshin corridor only. I tried to apply to the representative of Artsakh in Armenia. It's kind of embassy of Artsakh in Armenia. So all of the foreign citizens who just wish to visit Nagorno-Karabakh, they need to go to this place. So I applied. I was refused. I was surprised and confused. I called them back and told them. So I was waiting for about 3 weeks, and then I just refused entry. So I asked them, guys, girls, how come? But you know me personally. How come that you refused my entry to Artsakh? I spent 9 months in jail because of my visit to Artsakh, and now you refuse me. So they told me, look, this is not our consideration, because all the files were sent to Russian FSB. Russian intelligence. So Russian decided that you are kind of a provocator or something. So I decided to go without permit, and I was able to cross the border and to visit Artsakh and come back.
So how did Azerbaijan ever find out that you went and visited Artsakh in 2021?
Because I published in my social media, and I talked just on a video. Just standing just nearby the Papik and Tatik monument, and I talked to Hamaliyev. I told him to, you arrested me because of my visit here, so I came back here. I don't care about what you think, and you're a dictator, and I punished you in both United Nations and European Court, and I'm here once again. And I said I will come here once again and again, and will never stop me.
And so you said that there was a second criminal proceeding that Azerbaijan brought against you for this second visit in Nagorno-Karabakh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you know who, by name, brought that second criminal charge against you?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Do you know what agency of the Azerbaijani government brought the second claim?
Prosecutor General Office. So, but as I already mentioned from the beginning, so I was informed from the beginning. I was informed by the Israeli Minister of Foreign Affairs, but it was 1 year earlier. So then I received the message from my friends who work with Russian Prosecutor General Office. So Azerbaijan once again applied to ex-Soviet countries, as I mentioned, Minsk Agreement of juridical support. So this is not Interpol. I'm not going to be arrested in Mexico or Canada, but I cannot go to ex-Soviet countries.
Understood. So, do you remember the name of the person from the Israeli government that gave you this information that you just talked about?
Yeah, Miss Duvdevani. Surname is Duvdevani. And the first name, it was like N. Duvdevani.
Oh, so this was the same person that you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
Okay. So in essence, if you visit any of these former Soviet countries and or Azerbaijan, you'll be arrested again. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I can bring one more example. So a couple of years ago, I was on my flight from Europe to Armenia through Georgia, through Tbilisi airport. It was the cheapest option with Georgian Airlines. I think from Warsaw in Poland. Yeah, I think so. Might be Berlin. Never mind. So when I had a stopover in Tbilisi airport, I have like maybe 5-6 hours waiting time till the next flight to Yerevan. So I decided to enter Georgia and to walk a little bit in the city center and to go for dinner or something. I wasn't allowed to enter to Georgia. So when I proceeded to the passport control, Georgian passport control, to give them my passport, they took my passport to the office and they told me, could you wait please here? So I've been waiting for about 1 hour. And then I was told that I'm a kind of persona non grata, because they said they have something from Azerbaijan. They didn't explain me what exactly. They said we have something here in the computer about you from the Azerbaijan Prosecutor General Office. So we're not going to arrest you because we don't need any scandals, international scandals. So they said the best option for you and for us, just continue to Yerevan.
In what year was this again?
Huh?
What year did this happen in Georgia?
About 2 years ago, I think, 2020.
2020 or 2020?
Maybe 2021.
Okay. Well, so let's jump forward a little bit to 2016. So from 2011 to 2016, were you able to travel the world unimpeded and safe, in a safe fashion? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about what happened to you in Belarus. But before I get there, what country, let's just say 1 or 2 countries, before you got to Belarus, what countries did you visit before you reached Belarus?
I've been to the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Poland. So I took the train from Vilnius, capital city of Lithuania, to Minsk, capital of Belarus. It's a very short ride, for about 3 hours, including the border formalities. So I entered peacefully the Republic of Belarus and arrived to the city of Minsk. And then I had a couple of plans. So basically I had to go to Moscow through Belarus. So there is only way from the Baltics, from Lithuania to Moscow, all trains pass through Belarus. So I had 2 trains and I have a night to spend somewhere. So I spent the night in a hotel just in front of the train station in Minsk. So in the middle of the night, basically I think it was about 1 a.m. more or less, somebody knocked on my door. I was almost sleeping, just like in the bed with my smartphone, just reading news or something. I went to the door and I looked to this door hole, and there were 2 policemen with machine guns. So they asked, Mr. Lapshin? I said yes. They said, please open the door. So I opened the door. They presented the documents. I said, from the Minsk police, you're under arrest because of request from the Republic of Azerbaijan. So it looks like a joke. So I asked, are you serious, guys? They said, yes, just take your belongings, we're going to the police station. They said, we're just simple policemen, we're not going to figure out if you're guilty or not guilty. they have to bring you to the police station and then talk to our chief. And then I asked them, could you guys please allow me to go to the restroom for a second, and then I will take my belongings, we'll go. They said, okay, please. So I entered the restroom, and before I went to sleep, I forgot my cell phone. Not this one, it was a previous one. I forgot my cell phone in the restroom. So I was able to send a message to my Facebook page, actually to post the small sentence. Guys, I am under arrest in the city of Minsk, Pervomaisky district, the central district of Minsk called Pervomaisky district. Please help, because of my visit to Nagorno-Karabakh. So I was able to publish this small sentence.
And do you still have that Facebook message?
I have a screenshot. Yeah, I have a screenshot of this message.
And then what happened after that?
Yeah, but my phone actually made like bzzz, and they heard it. So it just broke inside. They broke the door. They broke inside, put handcuffs on me, and put me on the ground. And I received some of bites. No, not bites. Bites.
Punches?
Punches, like punches to my ribs. Yeah. So one of the policemen, I've heard he's calling somewhere. So he said, he got my small smartphone in his hand. So he said, Major. This bastard was able to send the message. What to do now? And his chief answered something. I couldn't hear. And then I was taken to the police station. In the police station, all my belongings were taken from me. They checked everything. This time they checked everything. My smartphone, cash, passports, just everything. And they put me in a smallish cell, really small cell, without windows, without restroom. Just cell in the police station. It's not a jail, it's just a police station normally for a couple of hours. But I spent in this place 2.5 days. Without food, without water, without anything. So from the beginning I was alone, and then they put inside a couple of homeless people. That's it. So I didn't have any communication with the outside world, as I just found out much later when I was released from the Azerbaijani jail after 9 months. So I was told, my wife told me, here's the lawyer, he's tried to visit you in the police station, he was refused. He was told by the chief of the police station that you're not here. Many journalists just came to the police station to inform, to take videos and photos. All of them were just removed by the police. That's it. So I was, in the last day in the police station, was actually the second day, I was taken to the office of the chief of the police station. It was the guy called, his surname is Kobyak, Major Kobyak. I don't remember his first name, but the surname is Kobyak, Major. So this guy told me, look, this is a political issue. I have to arrest you as a chief of the station. I have to arrest you for, I think, 30 days. You will be taken to the central jail of Minsk, and then your future will be decided by the government. That's it.
So when he said that this was a political issue, did he explain to you what he meant by that?
No, just nothing. Okay, he mentioned that we're talking about Nagorno-Karabakh visit. I tried to explain them that I couldn't just enter illegally because the Azerbaijani government didn't control this area, so I couldn't physically enter from the Azerbaijani side of the border. So he said, look, I don't know geography, I'm just a policeman. I don't care. I was ordered to put you in jail for 30 days, and then you can apply and complain to the court, and etc., etc.
And so did you complain to the courts?
Yes, when I was taken to the central jail, I spent about 20 days without any contacts with my lawyer, with my family, just nothing. Just I was kept in the box full of people, with no television, no newspapers, just nothing, no visits, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I asked to be visited by Israeli or Russian ambassadors. I was refused. So I asked to be visited by Red Cross or my lawyer. I was refused. So almost everything I was refused. So after about, I think, 20, maybe 25 days, as I found out much later, both Russian and Israeli government applied with notes to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Belarus. They complained that they cannot just weren't allowed to visit their citizen in a jail. And then the Israeli and Russian ambassadors came to visit me after almost 25 days. And the lawyer, heard by the family, came as well. So all of them told me from the beginning, all the diplomats and the lawyer told me from the beginning, this is a political issue. They told me that there are lots of publications in the Belarusian and Azerbaijani media about me, and plus in Armenian media and Russian in the European Union about my case. But all of them told me, this is not exactly because of Karabakh or something. This somehow related to the Belarusian debt with Russian Gazprom, with the gas and petrol supplies. So I didn't receive any explanation how I can be connected to the gas supplies from Russia to Belarus, but that's it.
So when you say they told you that it's some sort of connection between the Belarusian gas deal with whatever it is, Russia that you said, who were these people that told you that?
The Consul General of Israel and Consul General of Russian Federation to the Republic of Belarus.
Do you remember either of their names?
Yeah. I need to check it, okay?
Take your time. And while you're checking, I just wanted to ask you, did you have any kind of documentation or any kind of physical evidence to back up any of the allegations that they were making or saying?
No, just the words.
Okay. And they said these directly to you, correct?
Yeah.
And while you're doing this, I don't know exactly what you're doing on your phone, but the information that you're looking up on your phone, is that something that is created by you and your personal knowledge, experience, whatever, your information gathering, or what are you looking at?
I am just checking her name on the website of the Israeli Embassy in Minsk. Her name is Yulia. I am just checking her surname.
And is that name still her name is Julia, right?
Julia?
Or Yulia?
Igor Karyagin is the Consul General of Russia who visited me. Igor Karyagin.
And was that the person that
Yeah.
spoke with you?
Yeah,
Do you
from the
remember?
Russian Federation. And as for her, where is she? Yulia. Just a second, please. Yulia Rachinsky
Okay.
is the Consul General of Israel. And nowadays she's Consul General of Israel to Philippines.
How long, in terms of minutes, hours, or days, was your correspondence or communications with either one of these two individuals?
So I spent 2 months in a total Belarusian jail before the extradition. So I was visited twice. So each of them was able to visit me twice.
And how long were these visits usually?
About half an hour.
Okay, and so if I were to ask you to describe what they physically look like, would you remember, or is that too far out?
So first of all, they asked me, what about your conditions here in prison? How can we help you? So I told them really horrible conditions. Too many people inside, not enough beds, so people had to sleep on the ground, and some people sick with tuberculosis. They cough all the time, so I'm just afraid to get sick from them. Some people with syphilis, some people homeless. So they told me, look, we basically can't do nothing, but we will just forward this information to the Minister of Foreign Affairs to Jerusalem and to Moscow.
Okay, understood. And I appreciate what you just said, but just to be very clear, that wasn't the question that I asked, and I didn't want to interrupt you. I wanted to know your story, but let's go back to what I had originally asked you, and then we'll continue on with this, because what you just said was very important. But if I asked if if the amount of time that you spent with each of them, which was about 2 visits, roughly 30 minutes each, would you still, from your memory, be able to describe what they looked like? Physical features, those two individuals, if you remember.
You mean their faces?
Yes, their faces. If they were tall, short, what were they?
Most of them tall. I know them. Both of them, actually, my friends on the Facebook, even nowadays.
Okay, well that's okay.
We're in touch.
Okay, and those were your Facebook friends, and those two people
I
actually.
I know them. Yeah, I know them personally.
Okay, understood. So, tell me about what processes you took, other than what you've already described to me, to try to appeal to the Belarusian court system to stop you or to stop them from extraditing you to Azerbaijan.
So first of all, I appealed to the city court of Minsk, and they tried to prevent my arrest. So they tried to change my arrest to home arrest, but were refused in the city court of Minsk. Then I was waiting for about 40 days, so based on the Belarusian rules, Belarusian law, so I had to wait for 40 days for the extradition decree to be issued. So after 40 days I spent in the Belarusian jail, the Prosecutor General Office of Belarus issued, it's called decree, I think, decree of my extradition to Azerbaijan. So I applied to the city court of Minsk once again. So the judgment was, I think, by the end of January, I think around 23rd, I think 23rd or 22nd of January 2017. So I was taken to the city court of Minsk. It was like a closed judgment. So my family and journalists and ambassadors weren't allowed to the courtroom. It took like maybe 5 minutes, all the judgment, 5 minutes. So my two lawyers actually tried to explain this is illegal, it's absolutely illegal, because visiting of any conflict zone in the world, it couldn't be considered as a crime. And we have a resolution of the United Nations in my favor. So the United Nations, Committee of Human Rights of the United Nations actually called for Belarus to release me immediately. And they mentioned that my extradition could be dangerous for my health and my life.
And so you just mentioned that you had some sort of UN resolution. What year did that occur?
I was told by my lawyer, so it happened actually. Yeah. And
in 2017?
Yeah, 2017. And plus the European Court of Human Rights actually issued prohibition of my extradition.
This
But
is also in
Belarus,
2017.
yeah, but Belarus is not a part of the European Council, so they didn't care about the decisions of the European Court. So the judge just went out and came back after a couple of minutes and said, so your application is rejected. So it will be extradited to Azerbaijan. And immediately on the same day, when I was taken back to jail, I had a meeting with my lawyer. He said, look, you will be extradited to Azerbaijan in any way. So he said, believe me, this is a political issue, but we will try to apply to the High Court of Belarus just to, he said, as long as you stay here in Belarus and the scandal is just growing and growing, so your positions after the extradition will be stronger. So they will be afraid to do something to you.
So did your lawyer
to harm you in Azerbaijan.
Understood. Did your lawyer ever apply to the High Courts of Belarus?
Yes, he applied, but we actually never received the decision of the High Court, because on the same day when the judgment actually took place, I was already extradited to Azerbaijan, and the day before the judgment in the High Court, it was a press conference of the President Lukashenko, so everyone can find it in YouTube. So he said just in a straight way, he was asked by, I think, Armenian journalist, what about Alexander Lapshin, journalist, arrested in Belarus in request of Azerbaijan because of Karabakh visit. So the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, just told in a straight way. First of all, he asked, Lapshin still here in Belarus? Where is my Minister of Internal Affairs? He said, Yuri, his name is Yuri, Minister of Internal Affairs. Yuri, I told you, send him to Azerbaijan. I don't want to talk about this guy here just in front of all of my people in the open press conference. It's unbelievable. So the Minister of External Affairs told him, yes, but this guy applied to the High Court of Belarus, and the president told him, I don't care about the court, I'm a president here. I told you, send him to Azerbaijan. And the next day, I found myself in Baku.
So before we talk about Baku, which we'll get in depth with, you had mentioned that this Lukashenko interview was somewhere on YouTube. Have you seen it on YouTube yourself?
Of course. Of course.
It's easily searchable for it?
Yeah, of course. When we just mention Lapshin, Lukashenko, we will see it on YouTube.
So now I want to talk about your extradition from Belarus into Azerbaijan. As you had said, it's something that happened quickly, correct?
Yeah.
So describe to me on that particular day when you were extradited to Azerbaijan, how were you removed from Belarus and how did you find yourself in Azerbaijan? Describe that for me.
So this happened on 7th of February 2017, in the evening time before the dinner. So the door just opened, couple of guards entered my cell, our cell, it was like many people inside, and I was told, Lapshin, take all your belongings, you just going. I asked, where are we going? They said, this is not your business. So put your hands on the back like this. They put handcuffs on me and they said, we're going to the airport. So I believed for some reason that I will be taken to Russia, to Israel. So I will be released. It was really funny to believe so. So I was taken to the Minsk airport by the police prison car. I was handcuffed. It was Azerbaijani jet. As later discovered, it was a president jet, belongs to the president of Azerbaijan, like a personal jet.
How did you know it was Azerbaijan's president's personal jet?
I could see this like a huge jet, and I was told by the Belarusian police who just guarded me. They said, wow, that's unbelievable, we'll fly with the jet of the president of Azerbaijan. They said last time when the president of Azerbaijan came for an official visit to Minsk, he used the same jet.
Was there anything identifying on that jet that stuck out as it being the personal jet of the president of Azerbaijan?
Yeah, there are about 3 or 4 jets in his personal fleet of president of Azerbaijan. So when you see the video, you'll find the video with this jet, you'll see the number of this jet. So you can just Google and found there are 4, maybe 5 jets in his personal fleet.
Do you recall the number on the jet?
I don't remember, but I can easily find it.
Was there any kind of presidential seal on the jet or anything?
No, nothing, numbers? Just Azerbaijan Airlines.
Okay. So did you ever, going forward from that day until today, find any information linking that jet to the president of Azerbaijan?
I remember I saw the jet about 1 year ago in Israeli city of Eilat. Eilat airport. So previously I just read the news that Mehriban Aliyeva, the spouse of Ilham Aliyev, arrived for a visit to Israel, for a kind of humanitarian visit. And then on the same day, I was with my family in the city of Eilat on the Red Sea shores. So, and the airport just in the middle of the city. So I could see this aircraft, this jet. Exactly this one.
Okay, so do you have any photographs or have you reviewed any photographs taken by anybody else on the day that you were extradited from Belarus into Azerbaijan that identified the actual plane that you're talking about?
Yeah, of course. There are a lot of pictures and videos. Just a second.
Take your time. And when you find this photograph that you're going to show me, or whatever it is that you're going to show me, can you check to see if it shows the number on the jet, if possible? If it does.
Yeah, just looking for the videos. Actually, the internet a little bit slow here.
If you can't find it now, it's okay. We can always attach it as some sort of exhibit to this
Oh,
testimony
okay.
as well.
There are a lot of videos with this specific jet.
Understood. So, tell me what you remember on that day.
The Belarusian guards, Russian police, just took me outside of the police of the prison car. I was taken inside the jet, so they changed my handcuffs from the Belarusian to Azerbaijani, golden made Azerbaijani handcuff. There were 4 Azerbaijani special forces soldiers with the word DTX. As far as I remember, this is the special forces of border police or something. So they were inside the jet. Basically, that's it. It was me and 4 other guys, Azerbaijani guys. So we took a long way from Minsk to Baku because Russia just refused to use her airspace to fly to Azerbaijan. So they had to fly over Ukraine, over Turkey, and then they turned to the east and through Georgia, over Georgia to Baku. So instead of 2.5 hours, it took 5 hours.
Do you remember any of the names of the Azerbaijani officials or military or police that were in that plane?
No, they were with the mask. The only thing that I remember, it's a little bit confusing things, but I will mention it because I mentioned it in my complaint to the European Court of Human Rights about sexual harassment. So not exactly sexual harassment. It's more, at least for me, it's more fun than sexual harassment. So in the middle of the flight, I asked them, guys, I'm kind of asking you, could you please take me to the restroom because I spent 3 hours in the prison car in the middle of winter. It was kind of cold, so I couldn't go to the restroom, and now we're flying for such a long distance. Could you please take me to the restroom? They said, you're not allowed. I said, guys, I cannot wait anymore. Please take me. So I was taken to the restroom, but I repeat, was handcuffed on the back, like this, handcuffed. So they took me to the restroom and just kept my hands and told me, so go on. I told them, guys, but could you please just release my hands because I just cannot go on without hands. So they said, you're not allowed because we're not allowed to to release you because otherwise you can just run away. Ask, how can I run away from the jet in the middle of the flight? So still they refused, but what they did, they just opened my and they kept my penis and assisted me with the hands.
So they took their own hands and placed it on your penis.
Yes, and they were nice.
Hmm.
So I told them, it was kind of, I tried to somehow, they didn't want to do this. So I tried to somehow to support them. I told them, guys, you're really good in what you do. So,
okay. So now I want to talk about when that plane landed. Do you recall when that plane landed in Azerbaijan?
Yes.
Do you remember where it landed in Azerbaijan?
Of course, Baku International Airport. It was a VIP zone, and there were, I think, maybe hundreds of journalists, Azerbaijani journalists, a lot of soldiers, many police cars around, and for some reason even tank inside the airport. So they tried to stage a kind of movie about me, about my arrival to Azerbaijan. There were soldiers everywhere with machine guns, with the mask, maybe hundreds of them. So a chief of the police, or maybe army chief, I don't know, he entered the jet and told me, now you will be taken outside. He told me in Russian, now you will be taken outside, keep quiet, keep low profile, shut your mouth, don't tell anything. So there are many journalists here and some of political leaders of Azerbaijan who were just to watching you. Some, I asked, is Ilham Aliyev here, came to meet me? He said, not Ilham Aliyev, but some people from our government. I said, okay. So we went outside and we walked through the line, actually 2 lines of journalists we just passed through. We can see it in the video, so if you just Google, if you just search in YouTube, you will find a lot of videos when just pass through the journalist line. Then I was taken by the police car to the jail.
Do you remember the name of that chief that came up to the plane and told you just be quiet, head down?
I don't know his name.
Did you feel threatened by him?
Of course.
Explain to me why you felt threatened.
Because he just he came for some reason. He came with the knife in his hand.
Was a knife?
It was a knife. No, he didn't touch me. But he just was standing just in front of me and said, "Keep quiet and keep low profile."
And so the camera's not showing it, but you're holding your hand up like this, correct?
Just kept his knife like just in front of me.
So what I want to do is I want the camera to capture what you're doing. So can you just show that again?
Yeah.
How did he do it?
Just kept the knife just in front of me like this. So he didn't touch me at all, but it was kind of, to put pressure on me.
Understood. So they put you in a vehicle, correct? And
Yeah.
where did they take you? Do you remember?
To the central jail called Kurdakhani jail,
And is that located what city?
between the cities of Baku and Sumgait. And it actually close to Baku International Airport.
Do you recall how long, in terms of minutes or hours, it took for you to go from the international airport into that prison? Just an estimate?
Maybe half an hour.
Okay. I think we should go for a little break because I
Okay.
need to use it.
Yeah.
Thank you.